All right, you beautiful motherfuckers. We are back and we are jamming on cold outreach. I brought my buddy here, Matt McQuinn, who's the founder of Coldlytics. And for those of you guys who don't know, Coldlytics is a tool that helps you find the buyers in your niche a whole bunch faster. And if you're doing cold outreach, I've mentioned before, kind of those of you guys who caught our last training, um, there's like $1,000 an hour CEO work, which is figuring out what kind of offers and messaging and strategy and things like that to connect with your audience. And then there's like $2 an hour grunt work, which is actually finding the emails and all those kind of things. And Matt helps you guys really simplify the $2 an hour grunt work and make that, a couple of clicks. So firstly, welcome, Matt. Thanks for coming back, man. Just being cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah, excited to dive into this a little bit, and I think just to emphasize really why we're doing this and why we're on this call right now is because the significance of really list quality is really what this comes down to. If list quality was low on the totem pole, I probably wouldn't be on this call with you. But really having a good place to start, a good foundation, is what you're going to build a scalable agency out of, right? So I think this is one piece of the puzzle that we're trying to solve really, really well. And I'll show you guys here. I'll do a screen share and kind of walk you guys how we do that.
Enable you here.
Yeah,
and just to piggyback a little bit off of Matt's point, there's been 100 years of direct mail testing, and we found this to be pretty true in our mastermind. They tested a whole bunch of factors, and 60% of the direct mail success over 100 years of testing came down to just who they were making the damn offer to. And 30% was what the offer was, and 10% was the copy. And that's still as every bit as true today. People think if you just like contact any plumber, that is like a good way to do it, but in reality it's narrowing down to the ones that like are most likely to actually buy your services, and then tactfully kind of approaching them. So I just hit screen share here, Matt, so whatever you want to
all right, let's do it. I'm gonna get some screen share going here for you guys. So we'll open Google Chrome and let's do this.
So we decided, by the way, just for those of you guys, we were talking a little bit off air, and we decided, since so many of you guys are in the dental niche, that we would go and show Coldlytics going after some dentists. Little caveat that we just wanted to mention, it's one of the most competitive niches on earth. So, like the breaking through in that niche is going to be a little more work than other niches, but we're going to do a part 2 of this where we show kind of like how we would approach those people. Anyways, enough blabbing of me. Let's show it here, man.
I love it. No, if you're landing on this page, you're on the right place. This is coldlytics.com. It's like analytics, but Coldlytics. So let's jump right in. We'll log in. If you don't have an account, you can just get started today, and it's free to sign up. You do have to pay to actually use the platform, but you can definitely get your free account to check it out and get a little bit more familiar with what you actually do in this platform. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. When you sign up for an account, you've just got a window here with a video. You can watch that. It's a little bit more focused for an onboarding call, but really what we did here is we said, hey, when you're building a list, it's way too complicated. You have to, go to 16 different sources. You got to talk to 3 different people, and you got to go back and forth, lose all this time. So without boring you guys with all the pain points that I experienced, because I'm sure you guys can relate on a lot of them, really what we're trying to do here is simplify this, yet still incorporate as many elements as we can to make it as powerful for you as we can. So there's a line that we walk here. This is a self-serve platform, so you don't actually have to talk to us. You don't have to do anything. What you're doing is inputting the data criteria for what you're looking for, and that goes to our research teams, and then we filter it. We go through a whole bunch of crazy quality assurance steps to make sure you're getting the best list possible. But that's what this is here. You're inputting really your parameters to say, hey, researchers, real people, go out, leverage the tools of the internet, leverage all the data that's out there, go find it for me. Don't make me or my team members do this. Go ahead, go forth and prosper. That's what this page is all about. So it's task creation. You're tasking our research teams. Really simple, starting out with how many leads you want. You might just want to start small, might be at 100, might be at 1,000, whatever that number is. And you see it correlates to credits over here on the right-hand side. 1 credit equals 1 lead or 1 contact. Max leads per company. If you guys are going after bigger companies, you might have 1 or 2. So if you're going after, I don't know, let's say it's like big chains in orthodontics or something, you might want to reach out to a couple of people. in that organization. But otherwise, typically small businesses, small dental practices, there's only one person you want to talk to, and that's the owner. So we'll set it to 1 for this example. Then we get into the next window here is ideal customer profile. So you could only use this window and you could get a list from Coldlytics. That's not necessarily the best way to build a list. It's a good way to build a list, and we're going to keep it simple for this call. So let's go countries. Most of you guys are probably targeting the United States. As you can see, we can target pretty much anywhere. What's that, Frankie?
Afghanistan looked pretty exciting.
So this is like a complete country list, but with that said, it's a little bit deceiving. Like we can't, in Asian countries, we can't source data. Like there's just not enough data out there. Somebody's asking about Japan today. There's just not enough public information for us to source out of those countries. But the rule of thumb is primarily English speaking countries have enough available data for us to go and build lists for you from. So focusing within the US, you can just put dental as the industry if you want. And then you can come down here to job titles, and you can either type them in, or what I like to do is just come right down to seniority level here and select owners and founders, right? And if you're looking and you're like, well, I'm not necessarily talking to dentists, I'm talking to whatever else, then maybe directors and executives, depending on the organization structure. And if you're going into, like, let's say you're going to include directors and executives, this is where you may want to up the leads per company, because there's more than one person that can say yes and sign up for your service, right? And if those people are all sitting in the same little cubicle and they're all looking at their laptops together, don't waste your time. But if these people are in different floors of different offices or all in different places around the world, there's a good chance they're not all on the same page. So while one may be closed-minded to what you do, somebody else may not be.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think a lot of people often overlook, is like, just because you tried one person at a company doesn't mean it's no good. Doesn't mean there's not an opportunity to do business there. But for dental, we're going to keep it really simple. Like I said, so US, dental, owners and founders. And this is it. We're going to skip past all this complex stuff for now. And all that I would say is just come down here and say, looking for business owners of dental practices, right? And why am I putting this in the notes? Because you're talking to real people. So if you can put it in plain English and just kind of help us articulate what it is that you're doing, it's going to help us do a better job on the research side as well. Before I jump to the next screen, which is our data points, and you define which headers on your spreadsheet you're looking for data from. Frankie, anything else you want me to touch on this setup screen?
No, I think this is great, by the way. And yeah, like, just, some of the fancy tools you guys have being narrowed down, like, depending on which niche you guys are in, especially if you guys are in the redneck niches. I know like some of you guys do HVAC and plumbing and things like that. What I found is if it's a one-person company, meaning the owner literally spends most of his day as a plumber, you may want to skip those people. So I noticed a screen there where you could have like a minimum head count. Like I would change that number to at least 2, because usually I find if they have teams and crews and things like that, they're much more apt to pay for like marketing services than if they're just a single person. That's not to say that every single person is a bad fit, but I found as a general rule, especially when you're first starting out, like, quality over quantity, go after the people who are most able to pay for what you're doing. But I don't know, it's pretty sexy. Let's keep going here, Matt.
Yeah, no, and you're spot on. So right now, the way we have this configured is that it is default 0, 10, 50, etc. But if you're looking for a minimum of 2, all that you would do, guys, is scroll down and in your additional notes, just say, please find companies with 2+ employees. That's all you have to do. So we'll, if you put something in there that we're like, well, listen, we just can't do that, we don't do that, then we'll tell you that you're breaking the system. But otherwise, you're good. Go ahead, modify your criteria if it doesn't quite fit, and we'll keep rolling here. So by default, you're always going to get first name, last name, the company name, job title, and email address. And the credit system works on a valid email being what uses a credit. If this goes through 0 bounce, which it does before you get it, and it comes back as invalid, we'll give you all the contact information free of charge, but we will we're not going to take a credit out of your account for that. So it does depend on having a valid email address. A lot of people go, well, can you guys get phone numbers? Yeah, for sure. Our process is this. First, we go for the personal line. If it's right there in front of us while we're researching, we'll take it. And then after that, we go for company phone numbers. If you guys need direct dials, you can message us in the chat and we'll walk you through the steps to get a direct dial list from us. We'll look at data points here a little bit further. Go ahead, Frankie.
I was just gonna say, I saw LinkedIn in there. That's a great tool, resource as well.
100%. Yeah, grab the LinkedIn profile, company website if you need that as well. You know, these are the defaults. You may be thinking, oh, there's no address in here. I can't get addresses. Yes, you can. We encourage you to put it in however you need it. So some people will just go, that'd be great if I could spell, address, and then other people go city and state and break it down. So if you're doing direct mail, you want to have these different fields, or depending on what you're using it for, you may need these to be broken out. Some people just want the address as one group in the column. So just make sure to specify what you need. But that's how the data point sections work. And this translates into a spreadsheet header where you see all your data at the end. Any comments, questions on this, Frankie?
No, this is badass. I actually had, you mentioned this. I've had my virtual assistants do this on direct mail, and it's fucking tedious work. So having a couple of clicks and then getting a spreadsheet back is pretty handy.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Let's hit next here. This is the final screen where you review the task. And I used to just kind of breeze past this, and you do have to give it a name in order to advance the tasks. That way it can be organized on your account. But don't just blow over this. You may find, like, you're spending real money, you're marketing, you may as well take 2 seconds to actually think about what you're doing before you pay a company to do it, right? Before you use your credits in Coldlytics. So just look at this list, make sure you didn't put anything stupid in or misclick a button somewhere. If everything looks good, then awesome. You'll see all of these dashes though. All that means is there's a bunch of other functionalities or input fields that we have that you opted not to use for this specific strategy. If you're seeing stuff that gets you excited and you're kind of curious about it, check out our YouTube channel. We got a ton of content on how to use all this stuff. So that said, let's give it a task name, and we'll call this Dental Practices US Owners. And we'll hit start task. And then what it does is it just gets you to confirm. It says, okay, this is how many credits you're going to use. Here's how many credits you have available. And we'll launch it here for this example. This is an old account, so I might have to. Oh, nice. Okay, it is active. Dental Practice US Owners. This is the first screen you see once you've activated your task list. So really quickly, Frankie, how am I doing for time? Do you want me to keep going or just cut it here?
Yeah, keep going. Like, curious to know, like, what's the typical turnaround time on something like this? I assume
24 hours. Yeah, we go for 24 hours for all lists up to 1,000. Here's what can make it faster and make it slower. Fewer data points, it's going to be faster for us to turn around. And if we find it fails our quality assurance test, then we put it back out to the research team and we continue to run our process on repeat until we see a level of satisfaction that passes all our check boxes. So those are the things that can push it past the 24-hour mark, is just us ensuring the quality's there. Or if it's a really complex task, but generally speaking, 24 hours up to 1,000 leads is how fast we turn these around. What you're seeing here on the screen, we've got open spreadsheet, and some people go, oh, the whole thing's automated. Well, not quite. Let's click it and have a look at what you get right out of the gate. If I sign in, let's go. Thank you. So here's an example of a past database that I had. Now, this brand new task actually looks like this. This is what your first task will look like. It's the filters that you gave to our research team, and then all the different data points that you're looking for up here. So you can see it was kind of generated into a spreadsheet. Our research teams are then taking this. Actually, we decide who we're even going to give it to first based on who's going to be the best research group for this. And then they begin taking these parameters and running with it, populating stuff, doing all kinds of crazy internet stuff that bores the hell out of me. But they do crazy stuff. And then you get a list that looks like this. So I've remove the stuff at the top. I simplified it. But you'll see white, yellow, and occasionally red. There might not be any red on this list. What this is we are integrated with Zero Bounce. So we push all data through Zero Bounce first. If you're not familiar with what Zero Bounce is, it's email verification software. So they attempt to put kind of an email through a server without it actually being a legitimate piece of mail. And they get a signal back from the owner's servers that tells it, hey, this inbox actually is not deliverable. You can't send mail here. If so, that'll highlight in red and we credit that back to you. Sometimes it'll say, hey, this is a totally valid inbox. You can send mail here, in which case it remains white like this. Or other times it says, hey, we can't verify one way or the other if this is going to deliver until you actually send mail to that server. In that case, they call that catch-all, and we highlight that in yellow. So all of these yellow ones here, they might bounce, and people often ask, well, what do I do with that? Do I use that? Do I not? Here's what to do. When your accounts are brand new, when you're trying to warm up your accounts, don't risk it, right? Don't email stuff that you're not sure is going to work. When you've got a brand new email account, you really want that deliverability to be top notch for the first few weeks. Then come back and email these people. And if 5% of them bounce, no problem. Screenshot it, send it to us. We'll credit those back to your account. But that leaves a lot of, low-hanging fruit on the table that a lot of people will say, oh, it's catch-all, I'm not going to email them. Well, there's fewer people emailing those, and there's a good chance. I think they say like 98% of them or something are deliverable. I've seen it go as low as 60% and as high as 100%. So do with that what you will, but that's the way the process works. So you'll see all the data will populate here, and we just notify you by email when it's ready. So you don't have to do anything. You just make the task, exit out, and you get notified in 24 hours.
Badass, my friend. So this is what I wanted to show you guys for part one, is just, getting names database, being able to move through that like very, very quickly, and having them, as much as possible verify that they're real people, real addresses and things like that. If you guys are interested in checking out Coldlytics, I'll put a link for you guys below. Also, if you grab it through my link, which is an affiliate link, just so you guys know, I will include as well our cold outreach bootcamp, where we show like how to actually message these people in real time, like how to strategically reach out to people so that they're interested in talking to you. And this is a little bit different than how most people do it. How most people do it is they send thousands and thousands of messages badly, in my opinion. And I want to show you how to send a couple of ones good. And then when you have that working, then you can scale up that kind of process. So if you guys are interested in that, just, go ahead and grab the link below. And I think you guys have like a free trial as well to like try out like a certain number of links or a couple of bonus contacts or something like that, right?
Yeah, so we don't have a free trial, but what we do is when you sign up for a brand new account, I'll just take you guys to Coldlytics right now so you can see it. We do kick a little bonus your direction. So if you sign up on the light plan, which is $99 a month, you'll get 50 free contacts on us. If you go for the mid-tier plan, you get 100 and then 200 consecutively. So we do throw that your way. There is no free trial anymore. We did cross that off the list. We just found people didn't benefit from it. There was no change in conversion rates for us. So as you guys are agency owners, I'm sure you can understand that we just said, hey, it doesn't make sense for us to do that anymore.
Yeah, and if you guys are doing this at scale, you know what it's like to actually gather this contact info. Like we're talking days, weeks, months, years. So 59 cents a credit to save you all the misery of getting, the right people to contact. I think that is well worth it. So make sure to check that out below. And if you guys have any questions, just post them below and we'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that first month with those bonus credits, it's actually 49 cents that you're paying the first month. So it's even better to try it out. And there's no contracts, no commitments. So it's the other thing I like to highlight. If you guys try it and you're like, this isn't for me, I don't need this, whatever, you can just message us down here in the chat, ask us to cancel. We'll cancel it right away. And we'll probably just ping you and just say, hey, let me know if you got a reason why. And if not, we'll leave you alone.
Cool. And I would like to add for most of you guys, if you're selling like, a service between 1,000 and 10 grand a month, which most of you guys are, like you basically just need to get one person in the entire year to pay for an entire year of Coldlytics. So I think that's a pretty fair deal.
Yeah.